seeing it fall out, it's just devastating. It controls your life beyond belief. I wouldn't do anything without a hat on. I just want to see how long I can drag out having hair, but I'm having hair I don't like. So what's the point? I felt like
Oh yeah, you're getting it all.
it always starts with the pictures. When I was a freshman in high school, you can kind of see it. I had like a widow's peak and it was just ever so slightly going back. I remember taking a picture because I liked my haircut at the time. I look back at that picture like 1 year later and my hairline didn't look the same. I Googled my stuff and I was like, oh, it could be a maturing hairline. It doesn't have to be balding necessarily. That's when I first noticed. So I was probably like 16. I'm way too young to be going bald. So I told myself it was just maturing.
Take me on the journey then, how things progressed.
I had a phase where I would wear like a headband like around my hairline so you wouldn't see my hairline because the thickness and density on top was there and you'd never see me without a headband because I wanted people to see that I had hair but not like a bad hairline. So that's what my strategy was, hiding it with the headband. I was doing that until that's when it started like thinning on top as well. So I guess my safety behavior went to hats because I didn't want anyone seeing that it was thinning on the top as well. Because it kind of looked like I had cotton candy like glued to my head because it was like so thin. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wear a hat instead. It makes it a lot easier. I don't have to worry about it in the morning.
I mean, a hat, let's be honest, it's almost like a headband and like covers the top
it
part
covers the top.
in one, right? Yeah.
It was a 2-in-1.
The 2-in-1, absolutely. So the hat game came in strong, and we know like the hat game is a popular.
The hat game was so strong for me. I would wear it in my own house. Like I didn't want to be seen in my own house without a hat on. I live with my mom, and I would be wearing a hat at like the first thing in the morning. She's like, "Why are you wearing a hat?" And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't want to like walk past a mirror and see myself with like a thinning and receding hairline. It just made me feel weak because I knew I was insecure about it. I'd hide it from myself as well. It wasn't just from other people.
When did it cross over then into like the top and that thinning out as well?
I always told myself I'll keep my hair as long as my hairline is receding and there's no thinning. Then at like 19, it just starts thinning and I would always like take pictures. I would get my phone, I'd be like this and I would always like record the top of it and I would notice it in like harsh lighting only. I was like, okay, maybe it's just like my hair is greasy that day or something. But then eventually I would like take a shower, dry my hair, it would not be greasy at all. It would be perfect. And then like you would still see that it's thinning. And like my brother actually said it too once. That was the first time someone else told me. It was like a Christmas party. I was like 19 and he was like, it looks like your hair is thinning on top. And you never want to hear that from somebody else. You never want someone else to point that out. So the first time I heard that, because I knew it at the time, first time I heard that, like my heart sank. I was like, oh shit, it's starting to actually become noticeable.
Can you remember how you first clocked it?
Yeah, it's always similar to like yours as well. It's like you don't realize it at first. You kind of just like get a glimpse at it and then you're like, oh shit, this is not going how I want it to go. Ever since that first time sighting it, you're just like almost obsessed with it. You just keep like every opportunity I can get, I always looked at it, like every opportunity. I probably have like hundreds. I'm not even getting hundreds of videos on my phone of me just going like this.
Yeah.
And just staring at it all the time at different angles.
Pictures didn't cut it because if the angle's off, if the angle doesn't hit right, you can't get a good look, right? But with a video, you can kind of like pause it.
You slow it down and see it. Yeah.
Tell me about that though.
I think it was just to like actually check because I mean, I wouldn't go out without a hat. If I was going to class or something, I would always have a hat. If I was going to the gym, I always had a hat on. I was like obsessed with hats. But for some reason, I just wanted to see if it was getting worse. Because if it wasn't getting worse, I would have been like, oh, you know what? I could live with it. But inevitably, you notice it's getting worse. I would just always check. And I just wanted to like see if maybe different haircuts would work. Because I had long hair and it was getting curly on top. So the curls kind of hit it pretty well. But then eventually I got a haircut and it just did not look well. I was like, damn, you could kind of see that it's really thinning on top. So I just kept obsessing with it.
You're 19, the hat's kind of on now. Was it like certain situations where you felt more insecure?
I was like one of those guys, I'd wear it backwards because I wanted people to see that there's still hair in the front, you know? Yeah. I know you go to the gym too, so you probably have this problem as well. When you like benching or anything, like the backwards hat, it was so annoying and I would always have to take it off. And the way I would take it off, honestly, looking back, it's kind of sad. I wouldn't take it off. I would just slide it. So no one sees like my hair is bad. In the shower as well, so much hair in there, and like I had white sheets as well. So the amount of hair, like my girlfriend was complaining, she's like, why is there so much hair in the bed? I'm like, I can't have like there's just balding. I don't know what to tell you. Like I remember this one time I actually went back doing the headband once at the gym. I wasn't sure if I was going to keep it or shave it, so I wanted to see if I can get comfortable seeing my hair. That was the last time I wore it because it looked it literally looks like cotton candy put on your head because you just see right through it. And I remember just looking back at it, I'm like, oh my God, my hair is just too thin to like not wear a hat. So I would even wear hats at like family parties. So I remember this one time, like everyone dressed nice. And I was like texting my dad. I'm like, oh, my hair looks bad today. You think I could wear a hat? He's like, yeah, you could probably wear a hat. So I literally wore a hat at like a family gathering when everyone was dressed nice. Looking back at it, it controls your life beyond belief. Like now that I don't have hair, you don't realize it when you're in the moment, but like I wouldn't do anything without a hat on. Like I wouldn't go to work without a hat. Like nowadays I can go to work and they don't allow hats. And it's actually, I'm grateful I shaved my head. If I wasn't allowed to wear a hat, like I genuinely don't think I would work there.
You said a really good point there. It's mad how it controls you to that point. We also know that that's when you start to question it, right?
I think it was when I went to that family gathering and I was wearing a hat and I looked at the picture, like everyone was nice and dressed up. And there I am, I have like a button down shirt with a hat on. I'm like, that looks ridiculous. You shouldn't be wearing a hat. Even to the beach, like in the water, I would wear a hat in the water at the beach. I'm like, I can't keep doing that. Like, how long am I going to live? Like, I'm just like delaying the process at this point because I just want to see how long I can drag out having hair, but I'm having hair I don't like. So what's the point in doing that if I'm having hair I don't like when I could just shave it all off and just get on with it?
It's a good, dude. Yeah, it's a good point. You have to go through those like pain points, those depressing times, and then look at yourself.
It's like almost embarrassing how much you rely on a hat. So I didn't want to be that guy that like has to have a hat at all times. I 100% got to that point. Wearing a hat in your own house and your mother questioning, oh, why are you wearing a hat? It's 9 a.m. and you're in your own house. I don't know why I'm wearing a hat.
We've got this one clip of the moment when you were like, okay, let's do it. Let's get it off. Talk to me a little bit about how you made that decision.
I think this is the best thing anyone can actually do is I told my parents about it because they didn't. To this point, I like kept it like a secret that I was like insecure about my hair. I think you have to open up and actually tell your parents about it. I think I told them when I was like 20. I first called my dad actually. I'm like, Dad, I think I'm losing my hair. It's like, what do you think I should do? What about if I shave my head? And he's like, no, don't shave your head. Like you always get that pushback. He's like, don't shave your head. You have enough. But I don't think what other people understand is not how much you actually have. It's like how you feel about it yourself. Like I felt like shit. Like I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror with hair. But opening up and like hearing him say like, go on with it, you don't have to worry about it, and telling him like my problems, I think that really helped. So that was the first time I did that. And then I told my mom about it. I was like, Mom, I think I'm balding. Like, what do you think I should do? She's like, I just really don't care what you do as long as you're happy. I was like, all right. I told her, I think I'm gonna budget today, and I have a clip where I was gonna record it, like me shaving it off. But I physically could not do it myself. So I got my friend to do it with me. He's joining the army, so it's like, it was a perfect opportunity for him because he's gonna have to shave his head anyway. So he shaved his head with me.
Clean. Oh my God. What? You actually look like Kanye.
I actually feel powerful.
Shit, actually, it's kind of decent.
And that really helps. So I think if you have someone with you to do it with you, or like just some like emotional support, like it's just so much easier because he did it for me. I don't think I would have had the courage to just go like that for the first time. So he did that. All right, dude, you ready for your turn? I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I'm not ready for my turn. And he just like, before I could even think, he just went over. I'm like, oh, it's too late to turn back.
Yeah.
And I remember like we started at like a 3. Now you could see my hairline. It was horrible. So I was like, I don't really like my way my hairline looks at a 3. And I remember he took a picture of the back of my head just so he could see like the, I guess what the length was. And you could see the crown thinning in the back. So that's when we went down to a 1. I 100% think it's in your best interest to open up about it because I didn't tell anybody. Even my girlfriend, she's like, she didn't know I was like insecure about it, but she knew I always wore a hat. She just thought I liked wearing hats. No, I wore the hat because I didn't like my hair. And she didn't know that. Nobody knew that. It was just like an internal struggle until I opened up about it. And I think that was the switch. That's like, okay, it's no longer me dealing with it. And I can now actually open up and other people realize I'm dealing with it. So when they see me bald, they're like, oh, he was struggling with it. He got over it. So instead of it being like some random event, like, oh, why'd you shave your head? Are you going through like a mental breakdown? Like, no, like I'm balding.
Yeah. Such good advice. What was it like from that day onwards?
Honestly, for me, it felt like I ripped a Band-Aid off. Like I think I instantly felt so much better. Like I went upstairs, I'm like, Mom, look, I'm bald. Like,
Yeah.
because I think I got like I didn't go like skin. My friend went to skin. I think I went to like a 1 just to like test the waters really quick. So it's like a really short buzz cut. And I felt so much better. But then I started letting it grow out again. And you could see like this light just go straight through it. So I just kept buzzing it really short. Eventually I was like, it's taking so much time and so much effort to like buzz it, and like I would fade it up so the side were like skin and the top was like a 1, so I'd fade it up, and I was like, this is taking way too much time. I'd rather just be bald. So I shaved it. And I remember the first time I actually shaved it, my girlfriend did it for me. I don't think I would have done it myself. Looked in the mirror, I'm like, I could live with that. Like I actually like the way it looked. And I feel so much better. It's just crazy how much you realize how much the hair was holding you back, and like the second you're bald, it's like I don't care about someone seeing my hair anymore because there's no hair. And it's like, I don't think I was insecure about being bald. I think I was insecure about actually balding and letting it like influence how I feel. I think that's what it was. I mean, you could always see like the shadow, but
Yeah,
I don't really care about that. But I remember my first time at work, because I don't wear a hat at work anymore. And my coworker, I guess I let it like grow out for like 3 days. And he's like, dude, why are you bald? You're 21. And I'm like, bro, trust me, my hairline is horrible. And he saw how far it goes back to like here. He's like, oh shit, bro. I didn't realize it was that bad. I'm like, yeah, bro, that's why I shaved my head.
Being able to speak about it, like honestly, like that, how does that feel?
Like I just kind of like internalized it and just let myself deal with it. Now that I'm bald, it's like I literally don't care about talking about it at all. Like I'll openly tell anybody about it. And I remember actually one of my friends opened up about it as well. Because since I'm bald, I guess he's like, oh, maybe he can help me go through it. It's like, I think I'm losing my hair. It's a lot easier to talk about it because I'm not hiding behind a hat or hiding behind like fixing my hair, trying to push it over. Like because I had hair here, I would like kind of like split it a little bit. I don't know. I just did crazy stuff. You always get that pushback like, oh, dude, why don't you just grow your hair back? It's like, it's like I just don't like the way it looks, and like I could grow it back. Like my dad always telling me, he's like, oh, you could grow your hair back, you have more hair than me. I'm like, Dad, that's not saying that much. You don't have that much on top. I'd rather be bald. But it's more about how you feel than how it looks. And I think that's a lot of people don't understand that, especially a lot of people that aren't balding. Like if you try to tell someone that, oh, you might shave your head, and they'll say something like, oh, but you actually still have a lot of hair. But it doesn't matter how much hair you have. It's about how you feel about it and your confidence on it. I think that was the biggest game changer, was when you shave it, at least for me, like my confidence, like I think you like showed it once. It's like you're so rock bottom, and the second you shave it, you just skyrocket so hot. Like you get like the craziest high after shaving it. So I think that was like a huge difference.
The pain doesn't come from like physically the hair falling out, that's like literally zero pain. It's all like emotional, internal, mental. When you break free from that hiding, the burden of like trying to keep this secret, it's just completely different.
Yeah, that's definitely mainly what it's all about. It just helps so much and just not have that hair, because seeing it fall out, it's just devastating. Because like if you're in the shower or you're laying in your bed and you look at your sheets and there's just hair everywhere, and you just know that it's slowly going, it's just devastating to see it slowly go. So I'd rather just like pull the Band-Aid right off and just get it done with and just move on with my life.
Yeah, mate, no, completely. Any message you want to personally send out to someone who might watch this?
For some people, your whole identity for growing up is your hair. Because I had a mullet at the time, and I made that like my identity. I know it's really hard, but you almost have to like, I know a lot of people say it's just hair. Like a lot of people, like I remember when I had hair and people would say, oh, it's just hair. Like that actually pissed me off.
Yeah.
But like on the other side of the fence, like if you really, it's just some hair follicles on your head, and you're allowing that to like take over your life to the like, I know for some guys, especially me, to the extreme of you're wearing a hat in your own house. Like, man, it's really not worth it. Looking back on the other side of the fence, it's not worth it. I know when you're going through it, it's like, oh, it's fine, I could deal with it. But trust me, when you're on the other side of the fence, you'll look back and you'll realize the stuff you actually did, it's not worth it. It always helps like seeing the other young guys. So I figured, you know what, if there's a young guy and they see another young guy, it might help.
100%. The post-shave clarity, mate. The
Post shave clarity.
You know, on the other side of that fear, when you kind of look back, yeah, you're like, oh, dude, that really took me over. You know, honestly, this was a really, really good chat. In my head, when you were describing the gym, dude, I remember the bench press, because when you lay back and the peak will like lifts up the top bit, you know, and you're like mid set, mid set, and it's like coming off. You're like, you gotta like re-rack it.
It's horrible.
It's been great.
Thank you.